Alrighty, y'all. We're going to Joe's Retro World. Today, we're going to take a look at a project I started over a year ago, but I just put it to the side and I was not able to get to it. I do apologize for that. But I wanted to show you where I'm at so far here in February of 2026. Right now, I do have my little portable Nintendo powered by this USB brick right here. This is just a little cheap cell phone charger. Now, this USB little head right here is split up into two, and what I did was I spliced them directly into the screen here, powering the screen with one lead. The other lead is going to the emulator, the Hyperkin um, emulator, Nintendo emulator I have in here that I chopped up and moved around and all that good stuff to make it work into here on this design. And then I do need a third power source that you don't see. I'll show you that later in the other video, where I have a battery pack from just a cheap toy that allowed me to put two AA batteries, and it has 3 volts, three volts of course, but it's at half an amp or almost an amp, and so that one has been hardwired into the speaker amplifier, which powers these two speakers right here. And so that third power source has to be isolated from these other two because there was interference with the speakers. It was just a little kick, like a tick every so often. You can hear tick, 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 and it was very annoying. And plus, it was interference that was not supposed to be there that was causing, an issue. And I was scared that it was gonna go to the screen or maybe an emulator or whatever. So what I did was I isolated that was power source. So I'm gonna get a power brick that has 2 outlets. That way I can have one USB head going and powering the screen and the emulator, and then have a separate power outlet going just to that speaker amplifier powering the speakers. But let me let you listen to it. Let me turn it on. I have Hdmi turtle plugged into it now. I do have the volume button here on the side. It's just a simple DMG volume wheel, and it's hooked up to the amplifier and the speakers. I can raise and lower the volume of the game. And it looks way better than what you can actually see on this camera. It's darkened it up. It looks a little better. This is a cheap little LCD screen, but it has a 16:9 or 4:3 ratio. You can set it to either way. Now I have it set to 4:3, of course, for all the Nintendo games. But this is just a rough draft, y'all. I just wanted to see if I was able to do it. If I was able to actually make this work, and I did. I got it to work. Yes, I have it plugged up, of course, with a power cord now, but it's because I did have a power brick, but it wasn't working. It wasn't compatible, so I have to get another one. But as soon as I get another one, I'll do an updated video of me doing a different shell. I'm going to take all this out of here, and I'm going to move it into a new shell that actually looks like a Game Boy DMG. The speakers will be moved, the controller will be cut and repositioned to where the buttons actually look like a DMG, where they're over here slanted. The D-pad will be up here in this speaker position, and then the start and select will be a little slanted right here in the middle. And then I'll move the speaker to the bottom, and I'll make it way thinner to where it's not so fast, not like this. I know now what I need to do and how to do it so that it works properly. All this excess wires and space and stuff that I don't need will be cut out and removed. But I got it working now. So let's crack this open and see what it looks like on the inside. But before I do that, let me show you some other games. Where there's the reset button here. This is the power button. It still has a death grip, so the games are kind of hard to take out. Let's put my favorite in, Contra. There you go. Let me just turn it on. And it takes a second for the screen to turn on. I still have the screensaver on the screen itself, and that's because I didn't want to scratch it up, damage it while I'm just doing the prototype phase. I don't have the money to be replacing stuff like this. So, but it's fully functional now, y'all. I love it. Sounds really good. I'm gonna have to figure out how I can do it with headphones, just like the original DMG, but I don't know how to do that. I know there's a little switch or something like that, a micro switch that you have to put. Oh, look at that! That you have to do so that it cuts the volume to the speakers and only to the headphones going to out. So, but that'll be something else down the line. I'll figure that out and I'll just add that to it later in another video. But yeah. Oh, look at that, y'all. This sucks. I'm dying the most horrific way. Oh, I gotta continue. Right, I only had 3 lives. But okay, y'all. Let's go open this thing up. Alright, y'all. Here's the back. I'm gonna go ahead and walk you through. This is a 16:9 display. It's 800 by 480 pixels. It's able to take an HDMI input. It's also able to use a Raspberry Pi for the touchscreen, but it also powers with one of these. This is a mini, I believe it's micro B connections. And this is what it powers it, and also be able to help you interface with a Raspberry Pi if you need to. And then it also has a 3.5 millimeter jack for your audio going out, because as the HDMI signal comes in, it has, audio left and right, stereo. So this is the output. Now I can make this a little smaller. I can literally solder, I guess, directly to these pins if I need to save some space. But for right now, this is how I have everything set up. I just went ahead and chopped some of this HDMI cord up and made it with turn as 90 degrees as I possibly can without damaging it, and then plug it in into the screen. This is a, like I said, a power supply, 5 volts at 1 amp. The wires are running down here. I got them all trying to make them neat, nice and neat. And then this is the audio, the 3.5 millimeter jack coming out with the stereo sound wires coming out. That goes down and loops around, and it goes to the volume control wheel down here. Let me turn this light on so you can see a little better. But I glued it in place with some resin. It's just a simple volume control from a DMG. So when I ordered to replace one already, I ordered 2, make it convenient. And then I just cut some side of the wood out right here and made the control to where I can access it without actually, getting it in the way or anything. Now I will position it a little better on the next model, so it'll protrude out a little more, because as of right now it's inside there, and I want it to actually stick out just ever so slightly coming out the side. That way you can just barely go like this, because right now I'm having to reach in there, just to get to it. But it keeps you from turning the volume up and down while you're trying to hold it on the side. So it has a pros and cons. Over here, this is I relocated the pin board, where actually the cartridge board connects into the game. And I had to reinforce it with this little wood frame and epoxy. So I got it all glued down. So this is going to be one of the hardest parts to actually take apart. I'm going to have to cut all this wood and stuff out with some clippers just to get to it. But yeah, I soldered all these wires right here. As you can see, I try to make them look pretty. But all these wires go up here to this, right here to control this. And it was in the worst possible position. I was just happy that it was working, And then here's the wires, of course, for the stereo speakers where I had them. Oh, not a feather. Sorry. I got a Dow feather couch in here. That chair, that blue chair, it's ducked down, whatever. But yeah, that's all the inside. Now over here, it's an original Nintendo controller. On the underneath, it is an original Nintendo controller. So I will be cutting this PCB board into 3 pieces, like I said, and soldering the boards together and making sure that they work properly. But I'm gonna have to figure that out later on how to do that. But I will make sure to document it. You know. Now after moving everything and doing everything correct with the final product, the speakers are not going to be right here in the middle. Of course, they're going to be on the very bottom, and I'll put them in different locations. I might actually put them all in the same corner because technically the Game Boy only had 1 speaker, so I actually might just put 1 speaker. I don't know, and use the other one for something else, for another device. Maybe on my Game Boy as a replacement speaker. So I'll see. You never know. But for right now, I just have the screen protector on the top screen. That way it doesn't get broken or nothing. But the reason I need 3 power sources is because I need 1 powering the screen, 1 powering the emulator, and then another one powering the right here. This is the speaker amplifier. It's just a simple little 5-volt, 3 to 5 volt amplifier. Comes in, goes out. You just solder your wires and everything. So I soldered the switch up to it, and yeah, volume controller works so great. It's really nice. This little thing is really powerful. So it's being powered by this little battery case. This is from a Halloween decoration. I made a ugly Christmas tree out of it too. Just some AA batteries, 1.5 millimeter. And I just directly, connecting them real quick with some Kapton tape to it, and that's what powers it. I turn it off and on like this. But yeah. Come back later. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification button so you can come back later and see the finished product, where it'll be a USB charger in here with all this stuff nicely tucked away in a new body. And it's all going to be wood. It's going to be wood, y'all. I don't want to make it out of anything else. I don't have a 3D printer. So it's going to be wood again. But I promise it's gonna look good. Because then when I'm done, I can paint it and make it look just like the Game Boy. Yeah. All right, y'all. So until next time, peace, much love from Joe's Retro World.